And I'm going to talk about that today. But if you've ever looked at my smoothie recipe, you see that I have all this stuff that goes in my smoothie. I have a bunch of it laid out here. Like I would put amla powder, which is gooseberry powder, because of the high antioxidant content. I would put some kind of super seed, chia flax, hemp seeds. I was putting wheat germ in the smoothie, flax seeds. I was putting pumpkin seed protein powder, barberries. Sometimes I was putting maca in it. And then I was always putting ginger, turmeric, and black pepper. And so, Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen, the only spice requirement he has for the Daily Dozen was turmeric with black pepper. So turmeric and black pepper. But then I always use ginger because I was drinking kind of an anti-cancer smoothie, and one of the ingredients was ginger amla powder. And so I thought, well, eating a bowl of oatmeal is okay, but I know that I do not like putting turmeric, ginger, black pepper, and amla powder in my oatmeal. I've tried that kind of thing in the past, and I just do not like it. It doesn't taste good to me. So, I started thinking, I'm never going to do that. I know that there's never going to come a day when I like the taste of all these spices on top of oatmeal, even savory, any kind of oatmeal. I just know that I'm not going to like it. So I decided then to find another way to be able to get these powders into my body without putting them on my food. Well, I had seen a show, I don't know, it was somebody's a YouTube video or somebody's interview where they used something called blate papes. And they said that you could swallow any kind of obnoxious liquid if you use these blate papes. And so how they work is they're gel pouches, and they're very, very thin. They're super thin, and you can't have wet hands when you touch them because they'll melt. They'll just melt if they get wet. And you put them in this little cardboard stand that it comes with. And then what you do, and I'll put this in my Amazon store this afternoon when I get done with this so that that's where I got them. So I have this little stand, and then I can take my 4th teaspoon measuring spoon, and I can put my 4th teaspoon, when my turmeric is getting kind of low. I use it every day. I can put it in here. It's real easy. And then I can also put in the pinch of black pepper that's in the Daily Dozen in his Dr. Greger's spice recommendations. And then I also can put my ground ginger in here because I do use ground ginger. And I can put 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground ginger in here. And then the other thing I can put in here is that amla powder, because this is very bitter. And you cannot put this on food and not, really taste it. It's very bitter. So I could use a 1/2 a teaspoon, but I'm just going to put a 1/4 teaspoon in for now, just for illustration purposes. So I have all those spices in this little blate pape thing. And now all I have to do is wet it. And I have my water here. And I can just, put my hand, this is my water, and just wet the tip of it so that I can make it into a pouch. And then I just kind of press it down. And then that turns it into a pouch. It's sealed. And then when I get ready to take it, what I do is I dip it in the water, and then it gets real soft. And then it just slides down your throat and you don't taste it. So that's a very, very easy way to get down all the spices. And you can do as many of those as you want. So, one of the things that Dr. Greger, and he cracks me up because every time I watch him, he adds more stuff. Like I thought I was doing good to get turmeric and black pepper and then my ginger and amla powder. I thought, oh, I'm doing good to get those. I've been doing that for a long time. But then he said, oh, try black cumin. Well, black cumin is the bitterest, ickiest thing I've ever tasted. So I could not stomach black cumin. Well, I could, use the blate papes and use it for black cumin. I don't have any. And then he also suggested barberries. Well, barberries you can't swallow, so I could try to put those in my oatmeal. I'll try that today. maca powder. It doesn't taste bad, but I don't wanna put it on my food, so that's another one I could make 2 of those blate papes with different things. And then, he's got other spices, garlic, cinnamon, cloves. Those are things that I don't mind putting on my food. And then, the amla powder. Why would you put amla powder? Because it's one of the best antioxidant foods, highest antioxidant foods there are. Protects cells, heart health, longevity, anti-inflammatory, blood sugar management. So it's got a whole list of things. I'm going to go get my cinnamon. I don't mind putting cinnamon directly on my food because I like the taste of cinnamon. Of course, I can't find it. Here it is. So I do like cinnamon, so I'll put cinnamon on my oatmeal. So there you go. I was able to get all the spices recommended by Dr. Greger from the Daily Dozen and his other book, which is How Not to Age. So the spices from How Not to Age are some of those other ones that weren't covered in the Daily Dozen. So I got those down. So those are things I used to put in my smoothie that I'm trying to stay away from to kind of cut down a little bit on the amount of food I'm consuming so I could lose more weight because I wasn't really losing weight very well. And I did manage to lose, I'm going to say 3.5 pounds during the Daily Dozen. I gained back a pound from Thanksgiving, but I think it's temporary and it's already coming off. So I'm going to call it 3.5 pounds. Well, that was really good for me because I had already lost a couple pounds before I started the challenge, so I'm going back down, which I like. So now let's talk about my daily oatmeal bowl that people were asking me about. So since I'm not having smoothies, what am I doing instead? Well, I'm trying to put everything else in my bowl of oatmeal, everything I can stomach, meaning I do not like the taste of weird things in my oatmeal. Like I know some people will take their oatmeal and they'll put all these turmeric and ginger and amla and flax seeds and everything in their bowl of oatmeal and they like it. Well, it's just not, I don't like it. So what can you use for oatmeal? I have just good old rolled oats, just the old fashioned oats. And you see how low I'm putting half a cup. See how low I'm getting on them. It's time to get more. I usually have a great big container like this of rolled oats, but that container's empty. All I have left are quick oats. You can use quick oats instead of rolled oats if you want to. I use these for my plant-based oat sausage patties that are made with brown rice and quick oats. So if you wanted to, you could use these for your breakfast, but they're not as whole grain. They're not as whole oats. The best oats are the oat groats in terms of fiber and nutritional value. It goes oat groats, steel cut oats, whole oats, quick oats, oat flour. So if you want to get the maximum benefit from your oats, the higher up you go, the better. Well, I don't like oat groats. I've tried to make them and I don't like them. And I'm not going to eat things that I don't like. I know myself and I'm not perfect. And if I don't love the way it tastes, after a while, I'll just say, no, I don't like that and I won't eat it. So I'm trying to do myself a favor and eat things that I like. So out of Dr. Greger's other recommendations, what can I put in my oatmeal that I like? Well, he says to use wheat germ for the spermidine and for the other benefits of wheat germ. So I had been incorporating a tablespoon of wheat germ in my smoothies. Well, wheat germ is good. I like wheat germ. What were some of the other benefits of wheat germ? Nutrient packed whole grain component, spermidine source for longevity, helpful for cholesterol, immune function, and cellular aging. Okay, so those were from How Not to Age. So I had started using wheat germ. I like flax seeds, so I'll put in flax seeds because they don't have much of a taste. So a tablespoon of ground flax seeds, I keep them in the refrigerator. So I like those. I've been using the super seed trio of chia, flax meal, and hemp, and I like that a lot. It tastes good. I don't like only chia seeds. I don't like only hemp. I like the combination. For me, this is fine. You can if you wanted to put both chia and hemp, you could do that too. But, those do have calories. So you have to kind of think how many of anything do you want? Because, I don't count calories, but if you add a ton of flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, you're going to start upping the amount of calories in your bowl of oatmeal. And that that can be kind of a problem. Okay, barberries. Barberries are very, very tart. So a teaspoon is a serving size. So can we put a teaspoon in our oatmeal? Yeah, I think we can. I just, grab a few. They're very, very tart, but I can stand them. They're not terrible. And then this maca powder, I'm not going to put this in my oatmeal because I think it would make it taste funny. I'll use that in one of these gel swallow type packets because then I don't have to taste it. So there I have my flaxseed, wheat germ, chia, and hemp seeds on here. A few of these barberries, whatever they're called. My half a cup of oats. And then what else can I put on here? Well, first of all, I will mix all this up really well. And then I like to top it with another Daily Dozen item, which is berries. So any kind of berries for the Daily Dozen. And I like blueberries, and these are fresh blueberries. But a lot of times, and I'll put half a cup on here. A lot of times I use frozen blueberries, and I discovered quite by accident, I ran out of fresh blueberries, and I had frozen blueberries. And so I put frozen blueberries, frozen banana, and I found out that it made the most delicious oats because the frozen berries and the frozen banana and the oat and the soy milk combined and created this almost like a smoothie kind of a thing. It was like a frozen ice creamy thing. It was so good. So I started doing that because it tasted great, but it also tastes good with fresh. Fresh or frozen is good. And then I have I picked up these strawberries yesterday, and I don't know how the store, Central Market, is getting all these beautiful strawberries in, but they are. And they're just fabulous. They taste good. They're the best dessert. So when strawberries come in, even though they're not in season, they're in season somewhere. And that Central Market, the store I go to, is a gourmet grocery store. And they get things like that are grown, greenhouse grown or whatever, And if they get some good ones in, I don't mind. Even if they're not in season, I don't mind buying them. They're a little pricey. So I'm going to put some strawberry slices in here. Just because I have them, I don't always have fresh strawberries, especially in the wintertime. But since I have them, why not put them in here? And I'll just kind of spread them around my bowl. And then last but not least, I mentioned banana. And for sweetness, I like my oatmeal sweet. I know some people don't care for super sweet things. So I like to put the frozen banana in there. Sometimes I have fresh bananas, but once the bananas get to a certain stage of ripeness, I don't like them anymore. I think they start tasting too sweet. So I get them in the freezer. And then whenever I need one, it's simple for me just to slice one up. And um, believe it or not, frozen bananas taste really good in oat cereal. They make the milk cold. I don't know, they just taste super good. So I'll put this whole frozen banana in here. And you don't have to use a whole one. You could use half a one and keep the other half in the fridge. But I like to use the whole one because it's so sweet and delicious. So I've got the bananas, the strawberries, the blueberries, all my seeds and things that I like to add. And this is big. I mean, it's a lot of stuff in here by the time you get to the bananas, the strawberries, the blueberries. And yes, I am aware that Dr. Greger and different people put out some kind of report that if you mix bananas and blueberries together, you don't get the maximum benefit from the blueberries. I know that. So sometimes when I'm doing this, people say, "Did you know that you're not supposed to mix blueberries and bananas?" And I say, I don't care. I like bananas because I like the sweetness. And I've been doing this forever, and I just don't think it's that big of a deal. And if it is, if that's the biggest worry I have, well, so be it, because I'm not going to change it now. Okay, and then nuts are another Daily Dozen item. So we can have a fourth of a cup of nuts a day or 2 tablespoons of nut butter. So I don't use a lot of nuts on my cereal just because, or my oatmeal, because I don't really need that many for it to taste good. So I'm going to use the equivalent of a couple of tablespoons. And these are pecans that I've toasted in the oven. They're from the San Saba Oliver Pecan Company, so they're very freshly harvested. pecans, and they're very good. And I have a bunch of them because we took a trip there. We came back with like 20 pounds of pecans. See, there's about 18 people watching. That's great. So now I have my nuts, which is one of the daily dozen, berries, other fruit, which is a strawberry. So that checks off 2 fruits, bananas, strawberries, and berries is a check mark. Oats is a whole grain. And then we have all the spices I've already taken. We have the flaxseed, which is another one. So this checks off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 check marks out of 24, just from the breakfast cereal. And then I top it with some soy milk. So I like soy milk. This is an organic soy milk. And to me, that's my favorite milk, plant milk for cereal, pretty much for anything. I also use almond milk. And I put quite a bit in because I like it that way. And some people use water instead of milk, but I don't. See, I brought a spoon in here. Where did I put it? Because I think water doesn't give it any flavor. It's just kind of like, why would you want water? I guess I left my spoon in the other room. Why would you want water in your cereal? I can use this one. It's not really a cereal spoon, but it'll work. I think, here, I think I have some more spoons here. I just don't think water cereal has a good flavor. So, that's not my thing. I'm not going to put water in my cereal. So, but if you don't mind water in your cereal, go right ahead. But I like to put the soy milk in it, or you could put almond milk in it. And there you go. This is my breakfast cereal that I'm having instead of a smoothie. And like I said, I get all the smoothie ingredients by putting them in one of these silicone papers, or gel paper, sorry. It's a gel paper that I could swallow with plenty of water. And so I don't have to put all the bitter spices in with my cereal. And then I have this beautiful bowl of oats with pecans. It's really good. Oh, and also, if it's not sweet enough, and like I said, I like it kind of sweet, you can drizzle it with just a little bit of date syrup. You don't have to, but I like it that way. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but the fruit is really sweet, the bananas and the fresh blueberries and the strawberries. So this breakfast bowl is taking the place of my smoothie, and it's added the oats in here. Whereas before I was drinking a smoothie with all these things I showed you, all these different spices and things, and then I was having a bowl of oatmeal too, and greens. And so I thought, that's just too much. And it was hard to eat it all. So I was like, got to do something different. And also, I was going to show you, I forgot to tell you about the pumpkin seed protein powder. So I had been adding this to my smoothie, and it could be added to the cereal, to the oatmeal. It doesn't have a strong taste. It's a powder. It's nothing more than powdered pumpkin seeds. And Dr. Greger's stance on pumpkin seed protein powder was that I wrote it out because I was curious. Because I don't think he was the one, maybe he was the one that talked about it. But I think he recommended it if you were going to use a protein powder. He favored pumpkin seed protein powder because it was less processed than pea, rice, or soy protein. And it's a whole food plant-based protein source. So basically, it's minimally processed. So if you're going to put a protein powder in your food, and you could easily mix this with your oats, and you probably wouldn't taste it much at all. You can get additional protein by using pumpkin seed protein powder instead of one of the more processed ones. So I do that occasionally. I haven't been putting it in this bowl, but I think I could, and it'd probably be okay. If you don't feel like you have enough soy milk in there, add some more. But I could easily eat this, and it takes a while to eat it because it's a lot of food. So, this is something I would sit down and eat it slowly, or take it into my office and eat it while I'm doing other things, because it takes a long time to eat. If you're chewing your food, it takes a while to eat food. You can't just swallow it without chewing. And that's one of the things about our society today is people want to eat fast food and not, it's literally fast food, meaning the food can be eaten fast. So think about, why people love McDonald's or fast food restaurants that have breakfast sandwiches or, things that you can eat in the car. You just unwrap it, swallow it fast. Hey, it's okay. You don't have to chew it much. You just, chew it a couple times, swallow it, and you're done. And you've eaten, 300 calories in 30 seconds, but you don't even feel like you've had much. So then you have to eat the potato fries and drink a sweet drink and have, 1,000 calories to feel full. But if you have this and you take your time to eat it, it takes a while for you to eat it. And then you do feel full because it takes at least, it could take you 20 minutes to eat this. So if you had to take this to work, you could layer it all in a mason jar or in a to-go container and just layer it all up. And you could put the milk on it because it would be kind of like an overnight oats thing. If you put the milk in it, packed it up in your lunchbox or whatever you take to work, and then sat at your desk and eat it, it would still be great. It would taste kind of like an overnight oats thing. So if you have other ideas, you want other ideas for making things with oats, I have everything I came up with, I put in a cookbook called Plant-Based Breakfast Favorites. And it's actually a book you can get on Amazon, or I have it on my website as an ebook if you like PDF forms. But some of the other things I had in here that I make a lot that involve oats, that I could do the same thing that I've done is I have steel cut oats, like a sweet version of steel cut oats. That would be very easy for me to put in the flax, chia, wheat germ, and those things. I could easily incorporate those into my steel cut oat porridge. I could also make a cooked oat. I have a lot of notes in my book here. You can make old-fashioned oatmeal cooked on the stove. You just add water or milk, bring it to a boil, simmer it for 5 minutes, and then it softens the oats. Some people like to use a microwave. So you can put your oat bowl in the microwave and cook it for 1 to 2 or more minutes. Just be careful because it can easily bubble over, and then you have a big mess in your microwave. So I've done that before. And then the other thing that I like to do with the oatmeal is I like to make like a baked oatmeal. And so it's like a baked oatmeal for one. And basically what I do with that, and this works very well with the flaxseed, chia seed, wheat germ, all the things that I showed you are in here. That works really well with the baked oatmeal because all I do with that is I put the half a cup of rolled oats, half a cup of non-dairy milk, date syrup, banana, and a little baking powder and a pinch of salt. And then I put it in a bowl and bake it in the oven for like 20 minutes. But you can also take half of it and put it in the blender so that you have half of it blended, half of it whole oats. So that's in this book too. So I've made the oatmeal a lot of times. And then I forgot to tell you about the cinnamon. Cinnamon is another good spice that Dr. Greger recommends, and so do a lot of other people. Microwave 5 minutes at 50% power. Okay, thank you, Elaine. Yeah, however you like it. So on this, and I'm not a huge cinnamon fan, so a little goes a long way for me, but cinnamon is a good thing. So, put cinnamon on your oats as well, and then you get another spice in that is highly recommended by Dr. Greger and many other people. So, find out what kind of oatmeal recipes you like because it's a whole grain and it's very filling. So if I eat this now, then for breakfast, then it keeps me full for like 6 hours. Seriously, like if I have this and my greens, which I make blanched greens and squeeze all the water out and put a little vinegar and soy sauce on them. If I have that and this, I would definitely not want to eat anything. If normally I eat my breakfast at 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm not really hungry for the rest of the day. I could go until 2 or 3 o'clock before I'm hungry again, and then it's too close to dinner time. So the best method for me is to have something very light as like more of a snack, like hummus and vegetables or something, or a small salad. And, make sure it might have a some edamame on it or some beans or a few squares of tofu so it has protein and the vegetables. So that would be a good very light lunch or snack. And then, have my dinner at 6. We eat dinner about 6 to 7 o'clock at night. So we don't eat super early. And then don't eat a giant dinner. So this is a very filling morning meal. It could be your midday meal. You don't have to eat it for breakfast. Just because it's got oats doesn't mean it has to be eaten for breakfast. But it is the way that I get in a lot of the recommendations from the Daily Dozen, and not just the Daily Dozen, but all these things from How Not to Age. Because, as you get older, you think about all these anti-aging ingredients that have been tested by Dr. Greger and nutritionfacts.org, and it does make sense. I read the book. It makes perfect sense, and it's not hard to incorporate all these things into your daily intake, but you have to be intentional about it. And my way of getting them down between having the delicious oatmeal bowl and the other way was to use these things called blate papes. And they're little gel pouches that you can put all the powdered spices in or any ingredient you don't want to eat and just swallow it. But you can't put big ingredients in it. You can't put a tablespoon of flaxseed in it. It has to be small amounts, like a half a teaspoon or something, because you don't want that thing to get stuck going down. It's not meant, in fact, it's not big enough to hold a lot of stuff. So you can't put too much stuff in there anyway. It's just not big enough. But I can get all the, things I don't want to eat. Like I bought black cumin seeds when he first started talking about them. And I ended up giving them to somebody else because I tried to sprinkle them on my food and I tried swallowing them whole like in a spoon. And it was just terrible. But now I should have kept them because now I can put them in the little gel pouch and just swallow them with water and they'll be fine. But yeah, anyway, so that concludes my little demonstration about this is what is in the oatmeal, and this is why I'm not drinking smoothies for now. And I may just not go back to smoothies. I may just, continue on with the breakfast bowl of different oats. So if you like your oats cooked, you can cook them and do this. If you like raw, or they're not raw, they're steamed. So whole oats are steamed and they're edible without cooking them. You can use the whole oats. You can use the quick oats. You can cook steel cut oats. If you like oat groats, some people like to cook a bunch of oat groats in their Instant Pot, then that works great too. Then you can just top it with all these different types of seeds, protein powder, anything you like. And that way, I follow the Daily Dozen even if we're not on a challenge. And there's 24 check marks. And this can easily get 6 or 7 check marks from this, and then another check mark from the spices, and then you're pretty much, you've got quite a few checked off, and you still need to have more vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, a little bit more fruit, a couple more grain servings, plenty of water throughout the day, and then that's it. It's a very easy, sustainable way to eat on a daily basis and lose weight. You can lose weight doing this, which I think is remarkable. And not just that, I lost the weight and I've kept it off, almost all of it, for 5.5 years. And I still eat the same way. And I make plenty of very tasty foods. I don't eat the same thing all the time, like some of the influencers that I watch. See, more people join. Right? I watch some of the very popular, super skinny influencers, and, they talk about what they eat every day. And I'm watching them thinking, well, you're eating the same thing every day. You're eating potatoes. You're eating boiled potatoes and tofu cubes every single day. And maybe you're eating a cereal too, but you're also eating the same other foods. So I don't mind eating the same oatmeal most days, and then on the weekends make my plant-based tofu scramble pancakes or something. But I have a problem with eating potatoes or tofu and potatoes every single day of the week for my other meals. I like to have a variety of different kinds of beans, black beans, pinto beans, red beans, garbanzo beans, and different grains, everything from grits to oats to farro and, wheat berries and barley and just a lot of different grains, occasionally some potatoes, lots of different vegetables, a salad, at least a salad every day, plenty of fresh fruit. And, that's the kind of way I've been eating for 5.5 years. So it's good for your gut microbiome. It's good for keeping weight off. It's good for your skin. It's good for your fiber, lots of fiber in your diet. So this is another good source of fiber because, most people following the standard American diet are deficient in fiber. So they have problems with constipation and develop some, colon issues. There's a high incidence of colon cancer now, higher than ever, especially in young people, because the standard American diet is pretty low in fiber. So we're trying to get lots of fiber in, trying to get lots of diversity of plants, plenty of protein, which we can get through plants, and a little bit of all the different groups. And that's the beauty of the Daily Dozen by Dr. Michael Greger, is he's given us a roadmap. He's given us a formula that we can easily, you can go on it. You can take an app and you can download the app and you can just check it off and read all the different categories and what you should be eating every day according to him. And it's very easy, it's accessible, and it's not complicated. And it's the same every day. So you can learn it, memorize it, and incorporate it in a way that you can sustain. So I can sustain the way I'm eating following the Daily Dozen, and I have for 5.5 years, and it has not been difficult to do, except sometimes when traveling. And I will admit that when I traveled to Spain and Portugal, it was a little bit harder because I was with a group that were not plant-based, and we walked 150 miles from Portugal to Spain. And so I couldn't be really picky. Sometimes the only thing available for me to eat was something like a salad. And so, or fried potatoes and salad or whatever. So it got a little bit trickier with that, but I still managed to do okay. But excuse me, anywhere else, it's not hard for me. And I do, take a lot of things with me when I go places, especially to restaurants. I take my own dressings, but I make really good dressings. So breakfast is something you can make at home and you can take this with you. It's very portable. I've taken it with me many times when I've had to leave the house and go somewhere, and it's been just fine. So that concludes my demonstration on the daily oatmeal bowl. And I know this a lot of people are on here, which is great. This was supposed to be a paid subscription video, but I forgot to do that. I made it available to everybody, which is okay. So if you're not a paid subscriber to my Substack account, if you become a paid subscriber, I do 3 live streams a week of recipe demonstrations typically, and then I post the recipe later in the day. So you'll find this recipe in the written form sometime today, later this afternoon, and you'll have that as well as the live stream if you wanted to watch me make it again. So if you haven't become a paid subscriber, upgrade your account to paid. I do appreciate those of you who are. Someone says, thank you for all your suggestions for my oats. Great. Leanna, I hope you try some of them. And I do think they taste good, or I would not show you or share anything with you that wasn't good for me, that didn't taste good to me. So I hope you make these things. And thank you all for supporting my Substack account. It's been really fun. I plan to keep doing 3 live streams a week and posting other things because the 21-day challenge is over for now. And I am not going to do another one for a while. Probably I'll wait until January. A lot of things going on over the month of December. It's hard for people to hop on board when they're traveling and holiday dinners. And so I'm just going to wait until January. I'm about to sneeze. The pepper. Here, come here, Tori. Tori wants to say hello. Come on. This is my baby. Look over here. Don't look at me. Look over here. This is the girl. She's only 8 months old. And she's very, very sweet. If you leave the house and you come home, she runs up to you and she hugs you. Like she literally will jump up and put her legs around you. Like, you've been gone, Mom. I'm glad you're home. It's so sweet. None of the other dogs have ever done that. So that's my boxer, one of 3. So yeah. Oh, here, look at her. You want to see what's going on? What is that? I know we're not supposed to encourage that, but I don't care. I let her get away with stuff. She knocked all my papers down, so I have to pick them up later. All right, so I will be back on, let's see, Monday, Wednesday. And I'm not sure what I'm going to make on Wednesday. I've got a plan, and I can't remember what it was I was going to make, but I've got something written down to make on Wednesday, but I will post it. Usually I post it the morning of, but live streams are typically at 11 o'clock today. I made it 11:30 because I had to go take my car in for repairs unexpectedly. And it takes me a while to drive to where I have to take it and drive back. So I had to start a little late, but normally I start about 11. So I'll see you at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. And for those of you who are watching on other forums, YouTube, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, or come over to Substack. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.